This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Shalom, shalom, Akim. Before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'Kakodash. Okay. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the elect, or the hopeful elect. Okay, I'm the brother Gabar Allah coming at you with another lesson. Okay, and today's lesson is going to be based off this article you see before you. Okay, now a lot of my videos actually come from this article, End Time Headlines. Okay, so they have a lot of good reads. Okay, I bring out the most not entertaining, but the most what I would feel be most important to know right now. Okay, but they have a lot of good articles to read out. One of the better how do I say, websites. Okay, so this is a Target worker reveals stunning price hike for popular items as a result of tariffs. All right, it was posted on May 19th, 2025. And you see the picture of a heyday, which heyday is like those things, or electronics, pretty much, like to charge your phone, or phone cases, and that type of company. So it says you can see the price going from $9.99 to $17.99. Okay, so pretty much tariffs have hit it hard. All right, it says, for months, major retailers have been sounding the alarm about impending price increases. Now that the reality is hitting store shelves, insider reports from Target employee reveal significant price hikes on everyday items, with some products jumping by as much as 80%. Okay, and you see right here, $9.99 from $17.99. It's double the price, so it's 100% increase, I believe. $9.99, 9 times 2, that's 18. For the same item. Okay, this item jumped double the price. Okay, and soon it's not just gonna be a cable. It's not gonna be chargers. It's gonna be necessities soon. Okay, it's gonna be meats. It's gonna be food. It's gonna be chicken. It's gonna be toilet paper. It's gonna be everything. Is gonna be skyrocketed. Okay, food is gonna be looked at as a luxury. Okay. It says these increases largely attributed to new tariffs tied to President Donald Trump's trade policies are raising concerns among customers and industry leaders alike. Okay, so they're starting to realize that Nero wasn't that as good as a president that they thought he was. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at verse 19. Or matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna visit us, okay, via earthquakes, via so-called UFOs, via natural disasters. That's the Lord visiting his what he made. All right, it says verse 19, and will begin to make inquisition of them. Okay, what does that word inquisition mean? Okay, for those who don't know, a period or prolonged and intense questioning or interrogation. Okay, but this, let me grab it in the it was 2nd Ezra, No, they don't have it. But right, pretty much the Lord is gonna have a very intense. What analogy should I use? Is the Lord's gonna have a very intense time period where He's gonna be investigating the world, okay, so to speak. Pretty much He's gonna be doing things and making known that He's doing them. It says, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Verse 20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I shew these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. It says, verse 21, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right, you got your Walmarts, you got your Targets, you got your Aldis, you got your Trader Joe's, you have all these stores that you can go to. You have your corner stores, right here. We got some corner stores, where you can buy. I have a local butcher that lives, it's a 2-minute walk from my house. Local butcher, that'll cut you up or that'll give you some nice food, some nice meat and, chicken, whatever it is you need. But soon we're not going to have all that. You're not going to be able to go to your Walmarts, to your Targets, to your Aldi's, to your Trader Joe's, to your Better Food, to your none of that. You're not going to have access to any of that because the Lord Yahweh Shai said so. So this is just the beginning, man. And this, it doesn't even say talking about food yet. But we know damn well that's where it's heading to. Okay, it says, as prices climb at stores like Target, Walmart, and beyond, the ripple effects of these tariffs are becoming impossible to ignore, right? I went to a grocery store not too long ago, and avocados are imported from Mexico. So, I went to look at the avocados. Tell me, your 2 avocados were $4. 2 avocados were $4 man. I'm not making this up. It's this inflation is just something crazy, but the Lord blessed me though. Somebody that my father knew, he allowed him to grab some avocados, from his avocado tree. So that was the Lord, man. That's the Lord taking care of His servants. But it says, a Target employee posted on Reddit under anonymity recently sharing evidence of a dramatic price increase for a USB-C cord from the retailer's in-house Heyday brand. Previously priced at $9.99, the cord now scans at $17.99, a staggering 80% jump. So I was wrong. It wasn't 100%, it was 80%. It says, the worker who included a photo of the update price tag warned, it's happening. All of Heyday is going up. This isn't an isolated incident, but part of a broader trend affecting Target's product lines, driven by the latest wave of tariffs impacting global supply chains. Right? Okay, China. A lot of you got shit that come from China. Okay, you got shit that come from Mexico. You got shit that comes from all type of places. A lot of the organic food that you grab here, they're imported from other states, from other states, Slovakia, from other countries, man. Because everything here is labeled with chemtrails, it's smothered with chemtrails. Nothing you see here is ever really freshly made, man. They're sprayed with chemtrails and whatnot. It says, It says the Trump administration has positioned tariffs as a tool to reevaluate domestic manufacturing by making foreign goods more expensive. Unlike traditional tariffs that protecting thriving industries, the 2025 strategy aims to jumpstart sectors that may have seen little recent investments. It says, however, for retailers like Target, which rely heavily on imported electronics and other goods, the tariffs are translating into higher costs that are passed on to customers, right? Okay, this isn't, just a one thing. America's not going to go back to normal. Everybody was thinking that Trump was going to take everything back to normal. Nah. Real quick. Let me grab this. It says, this is the book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Right? Okay, and America right now is divided against itself because half of them think that Trump is doing good, and the other half is thinking Trump should be fired, should be impeached. So it's all going downhill for America. Okay, it says Target CEO Brian Cornell has been vocal about these challenges since March, when the U.S. faced potential 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada. During an earnings call, Cornell highlighted the vulnerability of groceries, staples like strawberries, avocados, bananas, and coffee beans, which often cross borders before reaching Target shelves. Right, like I mentioned. It says these warnings are now materializing as price tags across the store reflect new economic reality. Target is not alone in grappling with tariff-driven increases. Walmart confirmed on Thursday that it, too, is raising prices this month as a direct result of the tariffs. So, and it says other things like Best Buy and Shein, Temu, Amazon, all these companies are going to be raising their prices, man. Okay, and eventually it's going to be so bad to the point where you can't even get fed. Okay, but what did the scripture say? I'm going to close out. It says, Isaiah 65, and I'm starting at verse 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right? This is the calling. All right? And you're not listening. You're not trying to repent. Shalaki, it says, verse 13, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right, you're gonna be ashamed of yourself because you're not gonna be eating. You're gonna be saying, oh, "Fuck, I should have listened." Verse 14. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Right? So, that's pretty much it, man. You're gonna have to be held responsible for your decisions. But that's pretty much it, man. Low billing was edifying. Low billing, you got something out of it. Okay, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Makagodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations unto the elect. Stay prayed up.